There we go. Oh, my hair is really, really pointy today. I didn't even see that. Okay. Hey, everybody. I'm gonna give it like a second and let some people come on here. I am super excited about the amazing, highly accomplished individual that I'm going to be talking to today. Nichelle Rivers, Dr. Nichelle Rivers, she, her. And hi, how are you? And I am stoked to get to talk to her about many things. Oh my gosh, I had to like really narrow it down today. Some days it's very clear. There she is. Sometimes it's very clear what I want to talk about, and today the hardest thing. Hi, welcome. Come on in, Pete. The hardest thing was narrowing down questions, and my topics was rough today. Hi, welcome. Come on in. There should be. I sent you a request. See if it pops up, Nichelle, and you can should be able to say yes. Hi. See if it'll let you in. It's always an adventure on the Instagram live. Never never a dull moment. It's always something going on. Hi. Welcome. Did it work for you, Nichelle, or do you want me to try it again? You want me to send you? You want me to send? Okay, I'm going to cancel it. I'm going to try it again. I'm just invite Nichelle. Oh, it says you're. I don't know why it says you're unable to join. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see. Oh, I don't know how that works on the laptop. I've never done it on there. It says you're unable to join. I don't know if you can join unless you're on the phone. Oh, yeah. Someone suggested you might need to update. See if you can update it on there. We'll figure it out. Let's see what it says the status is. It says unable to join still. I don't know. I've never done it on the laptop, so I don't know how that works. Otherwise, I would try to advise. Someone's suggesting just try scrolling to see if you can find the invite.
So what I had to do is, I had to log in from my phone.
Yeah, I've never done it from the laptop, so I didn't know.
Give me 1 second, because we gotta. Okay, I don't know what happened.
Let me see here.
Huh?
Let me see if I can do it. Okay.
Do what? Okay. My beautiful wife is trying to get me. Hi. Okay, is that good? Okay, I was trying to let you see some of the work, but I don't know with the phone thing, Is it turned different? How's that?
Yeah, you're sideways. I think you can only do it. Yeah, I think you can only do it vertical for the live.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
It is what
No,
it is.
that's good though, because I can see the work around you, and as long as the sound holds up, we're good.
Okay. So hold on.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you fine.
Perfect. Perfect.
All right, cool.
Hi. It's so good to see your face. It's been way too long.
Right?
Way too long. That's
Hey,
ridiculous.
no, so I'm just saying hey to my homegirl.
I am so excited to get to chat to you. I was saying before you came on, I was saying I was so excited to chat, and I I was saying that I have this incredible, very very accomplished, talented, just such a great spirit person coming on tonight, and I'm just so happy to take the time. I am such a fan of yours anyway, and I think from the moment, so we met, I think, on Kevin and Bill's roof, right? And like, I don't know, a couple of summers ago, you and your lovely wife, and we had such a good time, and I immediately was just like, oh, I love this. I love these people. I love this person. I want to ride horses with Kim. I want to do this and that. We talked about art. We talked about all the things, and I was like, yes.
Yeah.
So there's so many components to this. I also was saying before you popped on that my biggest thing today was like narrowing down my questions, because there's so many areas that we could cover. So I'm going to do just like a little bit of an intro for anybody who's watching, or after we post this on our IG live, because people do watch these a lot afterwards on our IGTV. So for anybody just tuning in or who doesn't know Nichelle, so Dr. Nichelle Rivers is an artist, an educator, a DEI consultant. It's she, her. And she has not only a BS in visual art, but a master's in educational administration and a doctorate in educational leadership and policy studies. So, boom. And knows her way around a grant, which is an extra awesome skill set today in today's world. And so I kind of wanted to talk to you first, just a little bit about how sort of your history with art and what first like started you wanting to do that. You're originally from Memphis, right? From Tennessee?
Born and raised in Memphis, Tennessee. Can you hear me clear? Because I'm kind of far away from the phone, just making sure.
Yeah, no, I can hear you good. Just like, yeah, make sure you're speaking up a little bit, but we're good.
Awesome. So yes, originally from Memphis, Tennessee, born and bred Southern girl. I had some really wonderful teachers that believed in me when I was in elementary school. I was always a curious kid. I really never liked cartoons. So the fact that I was into art at a young age really was because I had some amazing teachers that was like, look, you're good at this. You know, they had me drawing stuff, and when they saw the talent, it was really about them kind of pulling that talent out of me. And that's where that love initially started, and that was in elementary school. From coloring things on the wall to having to enlarge stuff for, it got me. It kind of got me hooked, and so I since then. So really, it was grounded in teachers really believing in me and instilling in me that that I could be an artist, or that I really could be whatever I wanted to be.
Yeah, and that it's so important too, right? Just having, it's like getting that permission in yourself. And it always, I always think about people who have encouraged me, and it just changes everything about you, right? When you're little, because you're just waiting for somebody to say, yeah, go ahead and do this. And you're hearing a lot of no. There's a lot of no action happening. You're waiting for that voice that says, do this, you got it, like, go for it.
Absolutely. And that really means a lot to them. People don't understand how much that means to a child. Words can either tear you down or lift you up. And so it's really important what we say to children, our interactions. And so I know it helped me. And not saying that every educator that I came across was this, hey, rah rah roo roo, but you know, my elementary teachers were all very supportive, and you know, convinced me that I could do well in the art making process.
And have you always practiced art? Has it been something that has stayed with you as part of your life, or have you kind of gone away from it and come back to it over time, or go in and out?
No, I've actually been pretty consistent. So here's my journey, Liz. I auditioned. I went to a junior high school, and it's Colonial. It was Colonial Middle School. They've since changed the name to Colonial Junior High, and I had to audition to get into this school. So I went in, and I was so nervous. It was a creative and performing arts school, so I was super nervous, right? And I had to audition to get in there. My mom dropped me off. I had this awesome art teacher that, you know, made me feel more comfortable, you know, when I got there. So I had to draw something random, and I had to draw something that she asked me to draw. I got in, and pretty much started pursuing art more seriously from junior high school, you know. And again, you know, that foundation had been laid for me at the elementary level. From there, I kind of switched gears. I had the opportunity to go to a creative and performing arts high school, which was down the street from my junior high. Mm-hmm. In my brain was like, you can't be an artist, so go to the college prep high school. So I went to the college prep high school, one, because, you know, in my brain, I'm telling myself I need to go to the college prep high school. And two, my best friends were going to, you know, that high school. But I had a wonderful art teacher there, and I took art class the whole time I was there. His name was Mr. Hicks, Bill Hicks. That man, when I tell you, he was the best art teacher in the absolute world. We were doing etchings. We were doing printmaking. I mean, the stuff in high school was the same stuff I was doing when I got to Tennessee State University. So yeah, so I've been consistent. And from there, I've worked I had the pleasure of going back to work in my middle school as an assistant principal. And so, yeah, I've consistently stayed in the arts, and, you know, I call myself a starving artist. I think most of us are, until, you know, somebody, you know, tells you that, you know, I'm going to pay like zillions of dollars for your stuff. But whatever, I love it, and you know, it is what it is.
I had read on your website a while back, actually, and I'm probably going to misquote it, but the essence was, you were saying, you know, that art is like similar to breathing. It's like you have to do it, like, to stay sane. It's just part of you, and I feel the same way. That's what it is to me. Is, you know, painting is, if I don't, I've had times in my life where I wasn't able to do it as much when my kids were really little, and I was working all the time, and I would realize when I'd go too long, I would start to get a little crazy. Like, I was like, I need to pick up a brush and do some stuff.
I mean, Picasso, I mean, so many artists, you know, struggle. Van Gogh struggled. I mean, so many of us, you know, struggle. We teeter on that edge, right? So yeah, definitely keep.
Yeah, it's, and it for me, it's, you know, it's a life force, right? I love seeing the human expression in that way. And there's a couple of paintings of yours that I particularly love. I love all of them for many different reasons, and I really have been enjoying watching the stuff that you've been working on recently, like on Instagram. I'm such a little stalker, but there's two on your site, and if anybody who's watching this has not checked out this site, please do. And I'm going to put it I will put it in all the tags for everything at the end to make sure that everybody can go visit. But there are two paintings on there. One, I think, is called The Offering. And the other one, I think, is called Embrace Again.
Okay.
And Embrace Again, when I first saw it, I got really emotional.
Really?
I got really emotional. There was something about it.
That's so
Yeah. There was something about it that I was kind of overcome.
mm-hmm.
And I love, you know, I love that art can do that.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, Embrace Again and The Offering, I love both of those pieces. And I did those pieces back when I was living in Memphis. So those had to be the either late 90s or early 2000s, but I believe it was the late 90s when I did those pieces. I might have done The Offering when we were living in Minnesota. I'm not quite sure. I would have to look at the date. But the Embrace Again, it really speaks to this whole idea of just putting out love. Especially even when you see the figures and the embracing in the figures. They're non-gendered.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be a man and a woman. It doesn't have to be a woman and a woman. They're just people embracing, right? And so this idea of just loving whoever you want to love, whoever they are, and being able to do that, and just being able to embrace again. So that's really what I wanted to convey with that piece. But and the fact that it evokes some emotion from you, that's touching as an artist. You always want to hear that your work touches a person. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, no, it actually, like, I had to take pause. I'm pretty guarded in general as a person. I'm not like, I have a problem in that I kind of can't cry, and I have issues with the feelings. They scare me, but like, I do my best. But yeah, I really was like overcome, and I just sat with it, looking at it, because I was just like, whoa, I freaking love this. Like, this has got me right in the gut. And I just, yeah. And The Offering, that's the one with the white leaves, right? Yeah, it's so beautiful. So beautiful.
And let me tell you about the history of that. So one of my good friends, and he should, and I always tell him he should have been my baby daddy. But great guy. His name is Gus Bennett. He's a phenomenal photographer. And Gus has this unique technique that he does with his photography, where he layers. And I don't know if I'm telling the secret, or maybe I shouldn't tell the secret, but he layers his work in this amazing way that it almost makes it the textures, and he uses coffee grounds. He uses, just all sorts of, and I'm not going to tell all his business, because that's the artist. And so he has this amazing way of just bringing out the texture and the composition in his work. And so when I saw this image of this woman, and she's actually on my wall, right? When I saw this image of this woman, I had to pay tribute to that piece, because it spoke to me so. And if you see the original piece, you will see how amazing it is, because the original photograph is on my wall. Yeah,
I would love to see it sometime. Yeah, it's again a very emotional piece.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate
it. Talk to me a little bit about what you have behind you. I've been really into this series and watching you do these, and because I love watching people's process. I totally nerd out about it. But I've watched some of these in process and really, really enjoyed it. So talk to me a little bit about what you brought to show us.
The photograph now. So let me show you the photograph.
Oh, wow.
You can see here.
Yeah, tilt it down just the slightest bit. Wow. Ooh, that's gorgeous too.
Yeah, it's amazing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, babe. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, my faithful companion there. Series is called the My Love series, right? I'm super excited about this series, and it really speaks to body positivity and just owning the body that you're in. and just really affirming, what society does not view as the ultimate beauty, right? So this is my way of rebranding beauty, and really, what one I love, I don't know, my wife is. Yeah, can I? Okay, go ahead, babe. So I got to get permission because my love series really is about my love for my wife, and her body and the female figure in general. But she's my muse. She doesn't want me.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, she's my muse.
I love that. I love that.
It's really grounded in the notion that you don't have to be skinny and anorexic looking and this thin, blonde, blue-eyed being to be attractive,
Yep.
and up to the world. And so I want to affirm all the beautiful women out there, to let them know that they matter, and that they're beautiful. And so that's really what this series is all about.
Yeah, you have a quote also on your website with regards to your paintings, and it just simply says, my art envisions a world where it doesn't matter what you look like, who you love, or how you self-identify.
Yeah.
And that's it, right? That's the bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
That's absolutely what the world needs.
Yeah, and it's so true because I don't understand about our society and people, and why they feel that they have to police gender, because that's really ultimately what it's about. It's policing gender. It's a policing identity, and a good friend of mine, T. Parsley, says he says, "What I smoke don't make you choke, but shouldn't make you choke." So.
Mm-hmm.
Matter what I'm doing. It shouldn't matter who I love. It shouldn't matter with and who I'm romantically involved with or whoever I have a connection with. And so when we get people to move beyond trying to police who people are, how they identify, and policing their gender and seeing it just only through this binary lens, I think the world will be a much better place. But it's really grounded in ignorance. And what I mean by ignorance is that it's just a lack of knowledge in understanding what gender really means versus sexual orientation versus sex, all of those things. And so we could talk about that all night long.
Yep. Yes, indeed. I wanted to be sure and talk about, so Nichelle has a very specific project, and this even has its own Instagram, and it's super dear to my heart, especially, but it's the Stolen Lives Project, and it is really bringing a voice and a visibility, and also a beautiful artistic interpretation and representation of the just unending violence towards Black trans folks. And it really is one of those things where, I mean, this is nothing short of, and I really do feel this. It's starting. It's like genocide. This is targeted. This is relentless. This is organized. It is not something that people are like, oh, but bad things happen all the time to all kinds of people. No. That's not what this is. This is targeted, and it's a very different situation, and the severity, I cannot stress it enough to people who are not, maybe that's not part of their everyday life or that's part of their community. If you are watching this or watching this later on, this is an erasure, and it's just unacceptable. It absolutely represents what is possible when people are unkind and have lost their humanity.
Yes, yes, and that's so true. And I don't want to get too deep with people because but I feel like I need to say this, especially when it comes to the transgender and the gender nonconforming my brothers and sisters and days and Z's. So when you think, or when this society thinks about gender, I want them to kind of relearn that gender really, in many ways, to me, is a social construct. And so what do I mean by a social construct? I'm going to give you a perfect example. I was walking in one of the schools, because I work in a school district, and it was a little bitty kid, about maybe 5 years old, kindergartner, might have been a pre-K baby, right? And the student said to me, "Are you a boy or a girl?" Right? Mm-hmm. And I question, because I get it so often from the little ones. It doesn't offend me. I get it. But when you think about, if you think about gender through a social construct, which is also tied, so when you think about it through that social construct lens, I didn't fit the gender social construct that he's used to for what a woman in his little 5-year-old mind looks like, behaves like, acts like, right? I'm sitting in the airport somewhere over in Dubai or whatever. I'm having a conversation. I'm minding my own business. Children, I'm drawing. And this is in a Muslim country. And the little boys, little brothers, and they were playing, and I'm drawing, and I gave them a paper, and we're talking, and we're having a conversation. And after about 10 minutes, he goes back over to his mom, and then he comes back and he says, "My mom wants to know if you're a man or a woman." Now, in this entire exchange, I am interacting with her children. I went straight into education mode, right? I'm teacher mode at this point, because I'm showing, drawing, giving them pieces of paper, all of this other stuff. But in their mother's mind, all she's thinking about is whether I'm a man or a woman. And I'm like, why? Why does that matter? I'm being nice to your children. We're having an interaction. It shouldn't matter if I'm a man or a woman, And so we get grounded in what people should look like, walk like, act like, because the social construct has taught us that women should behave only in a certain way. Women should only dress a certain way. And so because it's grounded in this patriarchy, these hetero norms have just taken over everyone's mind and everyone's thinking. And so, we have to unlearn and relearn a lot. And people just don't understand that needs to happen. And it needs to happen on a massive level. And so the Stolen Lives Project, as you said, it's near and dear to my heart. It was grounded and kind of founded on this idea that I had to say something. I had to do something. I had an interaction with a family member. You remember when the bathroom debates and stuff started? Mm-hmm. And one of my family members made a comment about, transgender people being pedophiles and all this other stuff, right? So I tried to educate my family member.
Yeah.
You can't just put everyone in a box. Trying to just and make it a teachable moment, and trying to explain that the majority of the pedophiles are heterosexual people. Okay, so not trans people, they're heterosexual. So the Stolen Lives Project was born from that. And so when I started looking at the data, I'm like, whoa, this is really happening. This is happening, and nobody is paying attention to it. And so I started painting these portraits, posting images, trying to tell people's story, and really trying to keep their memory alive, and so that people will understand, like you said, the genocide that's happening in the transgender and gender nonconforming community. It's just horrific. I want to show the folks this particular image. This is Tony McDade. Tony McDade, African-American transgender man, was murdered by police in Florida. He was attacked a few days earlier by a group of men, assaulted. He ran into a few of them a few days later when there was not so many of them, and he went after them with a knife. And so when police came upon the scene, they shot him down. They shot him down. And this happened. I believe his murder took place 2 days after the George Floyd murder. Protest, no, nothing, because again, it was just a black trans man, you know. And so, you know, we have to do better. We have to do better.
Absolutely. And it's, you know, I think the other thing too, that it's sort of hard for people to wrap their head around is the rate per group, right? If you look at just statistically, how, if this was like, you know, if we called this something else, like, you know, white waitresses that work at Italian restaurants, and we said, okay, literally every day or two, a white woman who works at an Italian restaurant is being murdered. It's out of control. You know what I mean? It's, if you just call the group something else and equate it to the same amount of people that exist in this country that fall into one category, the ratio is so extreme that if people start to look at it in that way, all of a sudden they're like, what? That's like, so, you know what I mean? Because it's so disproportionate. It's just completely mind-blowing how over the top it is. And the fact that that is not getting national and government attention is just insane. I mean, we all know why, like the last few years, because that's a humanitarian abyss that we were just in. But like, I just have to think that if enough people just say no to this and unite and raise their voices, that we can bring the amount of attention to this that it's going to require, because this is crazy.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely mind-blowingly crazy.
And definitely should, you know, when you put money towards stuff, you know, they take it seriously then. But they're definitely not taking it seriously because they're not putting the resources. They're not putting the resources to combat this epidemic that's happened across the country. And if you look at the numbers internationally around the world, it's just horrible what's happening. You know, if I say this all the time, if it were like you compared it to white women, if it were white men that were out, if they were being this at the same rate, all hell would break loose. You know what I'm saying? All hell would break loose. They'd be like, oh hell no, something is amiss, right? But no, because they're in the majority of the victims. The majority of the victims, 85 to 90% of them, are people of color. And if I break that down a little bit more, 80% of them are Black trans women. So it's a lot.
Yeah, and it is from this misogyny and this patriarchy. And you know, I mean, we could really get into this, but the fear of the feminine in men's eyes, and the way that the patriarchy is set up is, I mean, you know, the binary is set up so that women can be less, and so you can have a dominant, have a hierarchy, and it's and this repulsive fear that we breed into our men. Like, this is all learned behavior. It's all training. It's societal training for men to fear that part of themselves, and anything that that connects to that, or that they see it in somebody else, or they're attracted to somebody else, or whatever, they go into this like catastrophic response. It's just insane. Like it's all of it is unnecessary. It's just absolutely unnecessary, and it can all be rewired. It can all be relearned.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. But they have to. We need more. We need more men, as true allies. You know, to call each other out on this whole idea of toxic masculinity, because that's what it's grounded in. This whole idea of toxic masculinity. You know, when they would rather be proud of screwing a whole bunch of women, you know, than to show an empathetic side, or to show a softer side, you know, because that equates them with being more feminine, or being like a woman, and in women are not at that level. We're the oppressed group, and many of us don't even see ourselves as an oppressed group.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah, it just goes all the way from the patriarchy down.
Yeah.
And it just, it's really, we're in quite a situation. I mean, the other thing too is I think about it also, and you know, this happens here, as opposed to, you know, there's so much of this same violence globally, but you know, at least here, technically, it's still fucking illegal to kill people.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Technically, here, you're not supposed to do that.
Right.
There's other countries where it's actually on law books. You can do that to a trans person. But here, last time I checked, you're not supposed to murder people.
Right.
And it's like, it's just fucking floored by this.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That the punishment, and you know, these people are not being made an example of. No one is holding these people up, putting their face all over, being like, this person murdered this person. You know, this group of people murdered this person.
That's true. And let me bring this one. Let me bring this piece in.
Oh yeah, I love this one.
Yeah, this is, let me make it a little bit more clear, okay?
Yeah.
Malaysia Booker. And Malaysia, there was a viral video of Malaysia. There was an altercation in the parking lot of her apartments, and she was just getting pounded, like kicked and beat and all of this stuff in her apartment parking lots. And people were videotaping this stuff. And just like you said, that, you know, that there are no consequences. Everybody reporting all of this stuff, in my opinion, should have been you know, arrested. They didn't. Okay. About a month later, she's found dead in her apartment. Malaysia Booker, and the anniversary of her death is coming up. She was murdered May 18th, I believe, back in 2019. And so these murders continue to happen. If you check out my Stolen Lives project on Instagram, it's at Stolen Lives Project. I post the number of murders and homicides that I'm posting, and the number of lives. These are people's children. These are people's uncles, nieces, nephews. It's really sad, and to do this work is heavy. It's heavy to do the work, but I feel like it's my calling. I feel like it's my purpose, and it's a living and breathing project that you know, I hope will come to an end, but unfortunately, I don't know if it will, and that's what's most scary for me, because right now the number of these paintings that I have downstairs in my basement is ridiculous. Yeah. It's just ridiculous. So we as a country, we have a lot to do. We have a lot of healing that needs to happen, especially in the LGBTQ community. You know, the amount of laws right now, anti-LGBT legislation that are being introduced across this country, is just someone has to protect our community, and so I want to be a part of that fight. I'm just not going to stay silent, and so that's why I'm glad we're having this conversation.
And yeah, that's I just talking about it means so much. And you know, we talk about a lot of heavy stuff on here, and you know, we get some flack, and we get, you know, we get our fair share of censorship from social media, but we keep doing it relentlessly because it all has to be talked about. You absolutely have to talk about it. It has to be something that comes to the forefront of people's minds, and that you can't just shove it under the rug. That's not it. It's otherwise it's a disintegration, right? It's like this entire world can collapse. I don't think people understand that once you lose your humanity, it's over, right? It's the beginning of the end. I couldn't even I can't even begin to say how, you know, there has been this global shift, and it's very specific, you know, with Brexit, like everything, right? It's not just in the US. It's a very specific shift. And my personal opinion is it's sort of like a last desperate attempt for a lot of these people to cling to their power, you know, as that generation gets older and starts to lose out to these younger generations of people that are just like, why though? Why are you doing this? You know, and hopefully, even just if it's with time, the shift in population and power, and the people that actually know better the tide's gonna turn. But you know, we can't wait for that. Like, right. People are dying right now every day, and it's just not something we can sit and be like, well, eventually, you know. It's like, leave it to the children. Yeah. But you know, I do have high hopes for Gen Z and beyond, because a lot of them are not being exposed to the same type of judgment and seeing things through the same lens, which is great. Like they're like, I don't care, that's my friend, or right. I don't care, that's just a person, or I don't know why you're making a big deal of this. You know, that's a kid I go to school with, you know. And every time I hear a story like that, I get so excited, because when I was a kid, that was not what was happening. And when I was even young, you know, even in my 20s, you know, I came out when I was 15, and I just got like a hard no from my parents, like a no.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay. And then like tried it again in my 20s when I was like getting divorced from my husband, being like, yeah, it's just not changing. It's not a thing that's going away. And you know, even in my 20s, everything, my life and my perception would have been so much different if I had had any representation or understanding of people who are non-binary, people who are trans, people that, you know, are just gender non-conforming, and have, you know, and understanding the separation between gender identity and sexuality, and that those are two very, very different things. But I myself didn't have the language. I didn't have the understanding. And, you know, like in the 90s, when I was in my 20s, it was like a whole other thing than it is now. So I feel hopeful, though, you know?
I am too. I'm hopeful, because I was, you know, the young people now that are protesting and really putting themselves on the line, you know, it really gives me hope. I was walking in one of my classrooms. I started a new position. And you know, you know how I dress. This particular day, I had on a suit and a tie, right? Because I wear ties to work because I can. So I had on a tie, and this sixth grader, this amazing sixth grader, stopped me. And this is what she said to me. She said, I love your style. I didn't care about that part. It was what she said next that I loved. She says, "You affirm for us that clothes are not gendered." Sixth grader. The sixth grader. Right? I'm like, yeah. So the message is, while I'm not trying to send a message, I'm just being who I am. She and her whole little crew, all of them are these little rebels. And I was telling the principal about it because I was so excited that she said it, and the principal was like, I got to see who this kid is. So I took her down there to the room, for her to see her. And I didn't even notice that this little girl had the shirt on. We walked up to her and I point to her, and she's at the front of the room and she's saying something. She had a feminist sweatshirt on. And I'm like, yes. So I was so ecstatic. But yeah, to our point, I think our younger generation, it gives me hope. It gives me hope that they're going to, make a difference. That they're going to, teach their parents something and their grandparents something. And hopefully those people that they engage and interact with will unlearn a lot of the hetero norm patriarchy that's just been pumped into their brains from the beginning of their existence, from when they're in embryo, from when you're born, and you have to decide on whether they're a boy or a girl, and so it just starts from the inception. And so I think this I'm hopeful that this generation will help us.
Yeah, I feel good about it. I really see possibility when for quite a while I didn't. When I was younger, I definitely I don't know, there was something about it. And even when my kids were younger, and even in like the mid 2000s, I think about how different my perception was then to how it is now. It's like, even just, in a 15-year span, it's changed so intensely and broadened, just awareness and people, even not, people can take it or leave it, right? But it's just about allowing other people to have that space.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's not, everybody doesn't have to fall into the same thing. It's nobody's trying to take anything from you. Doesn't mean that you have to change. It's just, hey, that's you, and that's great.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Absolutely.
It's not you know what I mean? We're not asking people to change their life. It's like, just, but you have to respect that that's that other person's choice. That's all.
And it doesn't impact them. Doesn't impact them.
Yeah. It's like, you can if you want to, you can absorb it and be like, hey, wait a minute, this is actually a cool thing to know. I'm going to help. I want to get on I want to get on board with helping, other people do this. But at the bare minimum, just like stand up for individuality and stand up for personal freedom and stand up for your fellow man. It's that simple.
Yeah. It really is. And ultimately, I don't know, what people don't necessarily understand or get. I think a lot of people, James Baldwin coined it perfectly, or said this perfectly. He said that, we're becoming during his time, that, we're becoming moral monsters, right? And so moral monsters is you have all of these people that are so-called Christians, and they're on the straight and narrow, but yet you reject your son, you reject your daughter, you reject your cousin or your auntie or whatever, just because of who they are, how they identify, or how you perceive that they identify, while at the same time praying to a God about, oh, bless me, Lord, Jesus, all this other stuff. But you're supposed to be this person, and yet you don't love everyone, even though that's how it should be, right? Mm-hmm. And so if it's grounded in love, which is what everything should be grounded in, if it's grounded in love, none of the other stuff should matter. Yeah. It can come up. if it's grounded in love. So ultimately, it's not grounded in love. So ultimately, we are moral monsters because we're not standing up for the people that continue to be excluded, okay, denigrated, murdered, told that they are not human, stigmatized. We have to stand up for all of that, because if you're not standing up for all of those people, then you're not doing the right thing based on what I know about Christian principles.
Yep. Yeah. And just human kindness.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's supposed to come from kindness and from love.
Yeah.
And you know, the thing that is interesting about that, I studied a lot of religions when I was younger, and I grew up with, you know, some degree of religion in my life, but also with people around me who were very extreme in certain ways. And my thing was always, yeah, but here's the thing. If God knows everything, right? If he's omnipotent and he made people, then, and he made all the varieties, everybody, right? Then he wasn't making a bunch of errors. Okay.
Right.
He did it on purpose. He made everybody different on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's the bottom line. You know? Yeah. It's like, so you're basically questioning, like every time you do that, or you say you can't do this and you can't do this, you're literally second guessing him. I can't imagine doing that. Like, if he's there and it is, and that's the setup, I can't imagine he's super happy about that. You know, like I myself, I'm not affiliated with any organized religion at this point. I believe in sort of universal consciousness and energy and you know, kindness and being good to people. But I'll tell you, if that is how the structure is and I'm wrong, he has got to be annoyed.
I love that. Oh my goodness. Oh goodness. Oh. Yeah. So art. Yeah. I didn't bring out many of these pieces, but I can pull out some more if you want me to you know, chat about them, but you know, we don't necessarily have to. But you know,
well, what I was wondering, so we only have we have maybe 5 minutes left until it's gonna kick us off, because there's a time limit on the IG lives. But what I was thinking is, because I'll put your website, I'm gonna put your 2 handles, both of them, the Stolen Lives and your artist one as well, into the details of this also afterwards. But what I would love, if you felt like doing it, is while we still have a few minutes left, and just in case we run out of time, I'm going to say how thankful I am that you were willing to talk to me and how much I admire and appreciate you. Because the instant that we met those couple summers ago, I just was, you and Kim, I mean, I just was like, oh, I like this is fun. We had some really nice conversations, and I just am really thankful, and I hopefully this isn't the last time, because I would love to sort of do it periodically and have, you know, updates, and I'd love to feature some of your stuff. We're going to switch websites soon and have a blog, and I'd love to feature some of the work on there as well, and highlight your website, etc. But I was thinking, with the last little time, if you would be willing to take the phone and get a little bit closer to the pieces that you have right there, so that people can see in a little bit more detail.
Gotcha. Hi. So I just turn this around. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, there we go.
That's Tony McDade. I'm trying to do the lighting right.
Yeah.
Right. So this is a chair that I was sitting in.
So amazing.
Yeah,
I love that.
I painted the chair.
I love it.
And then this is Malaysia. You all saw that one. I want you to look at the details on on this one.
Yeah, I definitely want to see it's just so beautiful. I love, love, love the different patterns and the layering of those textures.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
And then this beautiful thing up here.
Love it.
So I used stencils, some stencils out of paper plates that I made myself, pre-made, to do the patterns here in her body.
I love those. Love.
And you know I love them. So this is okay. I love the patterns in this one too.
Oh yeah.
So that's her.
Yeah, they're just amazing.
And then this is that's London Chanel. Another of my stolen lives. Oh, I got to show you this one. I didn't show you this piece right here. This is a vintage.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So here's the back of it. You can hang it.
Cool.
So this is
so cool.
This is Bayard Rustin. He's a civil rights, LGBTQ civil rights icon. He worked with Dr. Martin Luther King during the civil rights era.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think. I got some other stuff in the house that's my work. Oh, hold on. Let me show you my RBG that I'm working on. So this is my Ruth Bader Ginsburg that I'm working on. Let me get a little closer to her.
That's so cool.
So
that's so cool.
Yeah. So I'm gonna hook this up in here. You know that that little cloth that she used to wear, you know, on her.
Yeah.
And behind Ruth is my piece of John Lewis. Can you see it?
Oh yeah.
Trying to keep from knocking Ruth over, but
that's fantastic.
Yeah. So that's John Lewis.
Wow.
Yeah, and you see how big he is? Oh
yeah.
I'm trying not to drop my phone.
How big is that? Like 4 feet
40
by...
Yeah, 48 by 60. 4 by 6 feet. Yeah.
Yeah.
The same size as
fantastic.
Yeah, same size as Ruth here.
Just gorgeous.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited to see that one done.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. And then this piece.
Ooh. Oh, wow. Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, so that's you know, that's a snapshot of some of my work. Oh, I have a few pieces over here. Hold on, since you got me on here, I might as well go in.
Yeah. We have it's counting down. We have about 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Okay, 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Yep.
All right, so this is in the foyer area.
Oh wow.
Look at the texture on this sucker. I layered this.
Wow.
Okay,
that's gorgeous.
Then this piece. These are going to an exhibition. I'm going to be showing these in Malvern, which is why they're out.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that one. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
And then this one, this is called Electric.
Oh wow.
So her body, I turned her body into instruments similar to the other piece that you just saw.
That is so cool. Like the one on the wall. I love that.
Yeah.
Love.
Yeah. So it kind of combines my love for the arts and for you know for music and movement. And so yeah, it's been, I think one of my teachers has joined. Hey. And for everyone that joined and I didn't get a chance to speak to you, thank you so much for joining. Thank you, Liz, and for Play Out for having me. It's been awesome.
Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. And yeah, let's do it again. I definitely want to keep posted on progress of these pieces and chat again, because I feel like we only touched the tip of the iceberg, right? we got a lot we could go over.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Thank you.